What's good, people? This is Mada Atoms, chilling with my main man, Michaelange1o. This is my
Yep.
yeah, buddy. I need to get these audio levels right. If we over here throwing ad libs in the mix, but
Oh yeah, man. I'm about to get my little John on over here too. So you never know.
oh man. So look, I don't know when this is gonna drop. This might drop before the other interview that we did on Adam and the Bee, but I had to get you on the Mada Atoms YouTube for sure, and everywhere else this goes. I don't even know where this is gonna go yet, but no, so we did a record called Let It Go recently, and I wanted to do a quick little touch point, and we're gonna talk about that, but we should probably talk a little bit about us too, because I don't remember what we even spoke about in that interview. But for those that haven't seen, make sure to check that out when it comes on the Adam and the Bee podcast. But so man, Michelangelo, how long we've known each other for a minute? Let's just say it's been a minute, because that's probably the best way to word it. But um we
Well,
met.
I turned 21 around the first time we met, if you recall. So it's been like 16 years now.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So we met in a recording engineering program in Masseyville, Ohio. So we both, you were definitely like more exclusively on the production side. I was still just learning that side of the art, and we both wanted to learn the technical side of it as well in terms of recording live sound and just getting your chops out, because each one of these is an art form. So from engineering to production to the artistry part of it. So, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So we're here to talk about Let It Go. So with that said, do we want to talk anything about leading up to this record, or we'll probably? I'll tell you what. Let's do separate interviews for each one, and we'll just keep it simple. That way, it's out there
Let's
for you.
do it.
So
I'm good with that.
so Let It Go. Do you by chance remember when you came up with the idea? It's first off, the record name is not Let It Go. I actually do know. I'm gonna give you a little cheat sheet. It's called Odyssey. So sometimes producers will name it something. I'm really good with Michelangelo. Whenever he drops something, I'll make a point to I'll flip the idea if I can. So like if there's something like that resonates with the title, I'm quick to flip it if I can. But if I feel like it's going a different direction, or the tone has a different color to it, then I may change it up. But on your side, so Odyssey was the record. Definitely a lot of emotion in this one. What do you remember about it? Because I know sometimes you send me a pack, and then I get to it when I get to it.
Man, this one came out. I don't, bro, there's something you remember and there's something you feel like you just blacked out during. Okay.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna explain to like the extent that I like when I say I blacked out, like I just made this record and then like I remember going back through my beat folder and listening to it and I'm like, oh, this is it. This one's got so much emotion tied to it. But I do know that it was based off a I think both the guitar and the piano were some loops that I chopped and kind of and rearranged a little bit. A lot of it was arrangement on my end. Um, Not a whole lot of playing. There was a few little additions and sprinkles I had to throw out to like really give it that polish and everything. A lot of obviously percussive elements, but like the mark tree at the beginning. You know what a mark tree is, right? That sprinkling sound like a
Hmm.
glimmer right at the
Yeah.
beginning. I feel like it'd be sweet to actually record one of those, like an actual mark tree like instrument, like capture your own sound of that because I've always just found them in sound packs. But anyways, and I remember just adding a few other little sounds to it too. I got my little. I'm gonna sound ridiculous saying this, but it goes, and it slides right in. It sounds so weird that you'd hear it like in with this piano and guitar, but it just slides right into the pocket. So I remember
Mm.
making this record, and I'll tell you this to the extent in which I like when I say I blacked out. Um, I listened to it a couple times, and I sent it to you, okay, and you wrote to it. You sent it back to me, and I'm like, oh, I'm vibing to it. I'm vibing to it. And then the switch up comes in the last verse, and I had been listening to it, but like only like cycling through. All right, yeah, I remember this one because I would cycle through like the first like 15 to 30 seconds of a song, and then decide what
Mhm.
artist I want to send it to. And so when I got to that part, I'm like, oh shoot, look at this switch up right here. All right. And and I had completely forgotten that I had included that in there even. Uh, so when you sent it over and you incorporated that into your final song, into the final piece, it was a pleasant surprise. And that's where I think I probably had a little bit more of. That's where I want to go back into the session after I actually pulled the session out, because I'll send you a 2 track first to listen to, and then if you
Yeah,
request the song, if you like the song, I'll send you the session. So I
for
go back into
sure.
the session, and that's where I kind of got freaky with the with more with a lot of input from different instruments and a lot of different elements that I added to the original loops that I had found for that song, through
Mm,
old school hip hop yells and gangster chants and stuff like that, and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah.
that's what I recall of it, and it was just funny to like for you to grab onto that, and then I heard that song in its full state and completely forgot about the ending. So
That's super dope. I mean, ultimately, I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard it, so just to give you all a frame of reference, Michaelange1o will throw me like 50 at once, right? And so I don't know what the best practice is. I mean, we've been working together for a long time to where like I'm cool with that, right? Like we got like 30, 40 in the works right now at various stages. And so it helps for some people if they can burn through it fast enough, but um if it's other people, they might need like 10 at a time. That way they don't get overloaded. But that specific one, I remember I was like listening to the 2 track. I was like, ah, man, I'm gonna have to have them just like cut this last section out because it's too far of a switch up. I'm like, that's a whole nother record right there. So that was my first interpretation of it, right? But actually, typically these days, I'll run. So I like, naturally got to stay in shape. So I'll run and I'll listen, and I almost feel like it like taps into a flow state of just like you're just unconsciously conscious. It's early in the morning, and I remember I heard that, and at first I was like, "Ooh, it's so poppy." I was like, "But let me." I just heard that melody of, she's. Let me see if I can throw it up on the screen here real quick. So I think I got the lyrics in here. All right. So I got the lyrics in here. She says she wanted, but she don't know. Down the rabbit hole. I don't even got the melody right, but uh wondering what kind of wonderland this is. Why we fighting in the first place. So at first I was like, oh man, this is too pop. But I mean, at the end of the day, like I've definitely been genre bending between pop and hip hop recently anyway. So I was like, okay, well, let me see. Let me just keep it, and we can always pull it back if we need to. And then you vibe with it. And then I was like, oh snap, there's actually more that you can come off with it. Like at the end, I was like, well, let me like almost take that moment to like be this like, what's going on here, and then create like a certain resolution. So like that's why I flipped it at the end more so like more on a positive note, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like there's some tension, but I wanted there to be a resolution, which is why I switched that little in there. But I loved it. Loved it. So speaking of, we actually got another one that we're working on right now. So we're reflipping it. So like the best thing you could do is sample your own stuff. So um I don't even think I played you the next version yet, right? Did I
I
did I
haven't heard the new version. I threw it. You said you wanted a remix. I threw together that remix beat in like one night, and you're over here
mm.
writing a full song to it. And I'm like, I hope I got the arrangement right.
Nah, we'll lock it in, man. Cause yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, it works, man. It just works. But we'll lock that in for sure. But haven't figured out what the title is. But the irony is we had a Let It Go record before this one. And so we're closing the mix on that version now. So we're actually gonna have 2 parts of Let It Go, and then we'll do probably another version that's gonna be a flip on this one that's gonna be called Wonderland, which is flipping that ending into the actual chorus. And then I got I mean, there's a lot of inspiration on this record, so kudos on that one. What do you drift to more? Is it guitar or piano?
Oh, it depends. It really depends. I feel like I'll compose more on the piano. Like, I'm not as good of a guitar player as I am a keyboard player. So, when
Mhm.
it comes to actually like starting something off, I'll usually start with the piano. And if I'm going usually in an emotional direction, I'll usually use a little bit more piano. If I'm going like a more poppy direction, like a more like fast paced poppy direction, then I kind of typically tend to go towards guitar. I think that's what I would say. It's funny you said something about us coming up with this new song too, though. I wanted to touch on something real quick. Um, I mentioned that, hey, I don't even know what the arrangement is, so I have it right or whatever. But the cool thing about working with you, Adam, is that Mada Atoms.
Call me
Um,
whatever you want, man. If people don't know my real name by now, my real name is Adam,
I
and
mean,
I
it's part
it,
your name is literally just flipped it. So I mean, yeah.
yeah, I mean that just so. not I don't know if I've really gone public with why yet, but I guess I'll have to dig for this one. But Made Atoms, the whole concept was like back in high school, we were freestyling all the time, and I said something about Adam and Made Atoms, and people were just like, "Yo, that name is incredible, man." They were like, "Yo, that's run with that." And I did. And at the end of the day, there was a piece of me that was like, do I just take my real name and just like brand that? Or do I go with that? But for me, I love the concept of made of atoms. It's the idea like all of us are made of atoms. So tapping into like what is the universal truth, and we can find that through music. So it's almost like emotion becomes the conduit for everything else. But thank you for highlighting that piece.
Of course, bro. I mean, you're a very philosophical person too. You're always thinking about something. Always thinking into like next layer deep, which I appreciate about you. But what I was saying was, so for the arrangement for this, actually for this "Let It Go" record, the one that we're here talking about today, like many times, I'll get you a record and you'll completely write the chorus in where I had like the start of the verse or something like that. It'll be something totally off. So for this, for example, like the part where there's no snares and it's just the 808 riding underneath the piano and the guitar. Um, that was the part that I had intended for you to actually sing the chorus on. But you just went straight in with the verse there, and I mean, you made it work. And I'm like, dude, if it works, it works. Why not? Why even try to mess with it, really? And I think that's kudos to you because your choruses have gotten more and more powerful and they stand alone a lot more. Um,
Mhm.
from when we started working together, even I
Oh
think
yeah.
they've always kind of I think you've always done made a conscious effort to separate the chorus from the verse. But I'm getting to the point now where I'll send you a record, you'll write the chorus in a different spot than where I had intended for it to go, and it'll still be fine and stand out and it'll make sense because there's that clear separation from a vocal standpoint where you don't even need me from an instrumental standpoint to provide that separation for you. One
100%.
more thing I wanted to say is that, dude, this is probably one of my favorite songs that we've worked on together. It's I like the emotion behind it. I felt like it captured your flow. Like you just, dude, you just gravitated towards it, and like you were just. When I say I blacked out making the song, bro, I feel like you blacked out recording it almost, just because like you just went in on it, and everything like came through your voice, your vocal inflections were just on point and just made sense and just hit the emotional uh keys that they needed to for the most part. And then also at the very end, when you start talking about your dad, dude, like anytime I get a chance to be a part of something, like something where you're talking about your dad or something close like that,
For sure.
that's like extra special to me too.
Yeah.
Just knowing that
Because you knew my dad.
that
Yeah.
I knew your dad, yeah, and I love your dad, bro. He was a great person. Um,
You
and
s
but like
you
just
you
to know that
saved
you're
him a
able to,
couple times. My dad was pretty crazy, and yo, Michaelange1o, kept my dad in some good situations. You know, there were some moments. There was one, I won't go too far into specifics here because you never know who the audience is, but there was a moment where I called Michaelange1o. I'm like, "Yo, I need you right now," and I think he was, like, mid-bite of the burger at, what was it?
bro. We just sat down at
Okay,
BD Lang's Mongolian barbecue, and I
okay.
didn't even don't even think I took a bite yet, but I
Yeah,
just like put it in the go box, babe.
yo,
I gotta go.
and that's I mean, that's family right there, man, at the end of the day. So, I mean, dropped what you were doing in that moment to be able to be there for a family matter, and, fortunately, it worked out very well. So, as always, appreciate that moment. But, going back to what you were saying is, you had that, those lyrics, with my pops at the end of the song with, because
Yeah, it's
you're a father too, right? So, like, we'll talk about that in a second, but I wanna get your thoughts on the lyrics.
yeah. It's just it was such a positive spin, and I know that your dad was always like really supportive of you in the music. I mean, I remember him be there like putting his own efforts in to try to make your dreams happen and stuff like that back when he was around. And just to hear you talking about how making him proud and stuff like that too. And I know that like right before he left, I know he left you with a message, about being proud of how far you've come and everything like that. But just being able to like be a part of those personal messages really means a lot to me. Um, working with you, that those some of those moments are some of the most special moments of our work together. That's what I wanted to say, basically.
Man, I appreciate that. And Michelangelo, you being a father yourself, I mean, you're an incredible father. You're hitting all the important stuff as a parent. And me being in a scenario where like at times my dad was around, other times he was out and about, to where when I see the kind of parent you are, it's inspirational. So the good thing about the way that those lyrics were written, there's so much that you learn from people, like what to do and what not to do, right? And he was always like, next, next, next. It's always like, it wasn't like living in the future. It was like living in the now, but not drifting in the past, was that message, right? So it's like, Pop's always said to focus on what's next. It's like, don't live in the past, because that's not going to get you to where you want to be. But there was a certain level of like presence that like seize the moment now kind of mindset. But then also a little bit of reflection of like, hey, no matter where you are, like, I'm going to take the good that came from our relationship and build upon that into what, the next generation builds together. So I appreciate it, man. You made that one come to life in a beautiful way, for sure. Yeah, buddy. So
Yeah, bro.
with
teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, man. So, and that's a big thing for all artists, is just make sure you're vulnerable in your music. You know what I mean? Because like, I got a lyric breakdown video that you're gonna end up seeing that gives the like line by line of each section, but you're gonna see how intimate some of this stuff is. So now this was a special one for sure, man. So this is the Let It Go record. So I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and switch over to the actual record and let this thing play out. Yeah. So with that said, again, we're gonna have Let It Go Part 2 coming out. That's not gonna be tied to this production. So this is gonna be the original Let It Go. This comes out October 13th. Could already be out by the time this one releases. And then we're gonna drop Wonderland, which is gonna be like the flip on Let It Go. But definitely check out Let It Go Part 2.
Bro, you dropping this Friday the 13th?
Is it a Thursday? I think it's a Thursday, bro.
It's a Thursday, bro.
Is it a Friday?
I thought you dropped your stuff on Friday. Oh, it's a Thursday. It's a Thursday.
I changed it up, man. Artists need to change it up, man. At the end of the day, who knows? Wednesday, Thursday, we're gonna find out what works. But let's go ahead and drop yeah. Anything else you want to say before we get into the record, Michaelange1o? I appreciate the time tonight, man. I know it's a last minute interview, but wanted to make sure that we had a little touch point on Let It Go.
No, nothing else to add, man. I think the record speaks for itself enough.
Bet. All right. Well, we're gonna ride this one out, and then we'll keep it moving. Broken it all alone, too long been on my own, searching outside for something we had all along. You were there on the other side of the world. Through all the drama, kill the trauma, which I'm trying to heal. Closest expression of joy that I ever knew. See, I'm just trying to better me and turn a better you. Don't get me wrong, writing on the wall had I knew. Easy to see, baby, once you change your point of view. What is love? Love can be defined by words. See a piece of me and you maybe can make this work. Facing pain unresolved only make it worse. No one see what's on the inside, hence why you hurt. Want it bad enough, fight for it, yes you will. For the record, my whole life been running up this hill. Really gotta ask yourself what you want, babe. Stars in the mirror, look away and I'll be right here. I don't wanna fight no more. What would happen if we let it go? What could happen if we let it go? Today, I don't wanna fight no more. What would happen if we let it go? What could happen if we let it go? Obsessed with perfection almost surely lead to less results. No exceptions though unless it's exceptional. Want the power so we put the cart in front of the horse. Focus on the come up unaware when it's run its course. Plus throwing lessons that the present ain't gon' catch. The only question at your worst, did you do your best? Focus on reputation, quickest way to lose respect. Thinking that you're right, gon' end up with nothing left. It's kinda funny how we hurt the ones we love. Cause when you breaking down, that's when I'm supposed to build you up. Feeling stuck in a rut, that's when I felt like giving up. And I had to ask myself, is this what you really want, huh? Social distance couldn't keep us out of touch. Getting closer with these rhymes, watch my mind open up. And people love to judge, say I'm doing too much. But I don't watch the news, my point of view is enough. I don't wanna fight no more. What would happen if we let it go? What could happen if we let it go? Today, I don't wanna fight no more. What would vision, pay attention, life will pass you by. What's that mean, all our dreams if we gon' die? So I'm stressing, even question what it's all for. All the suffering seem to come from inside. Can't help it, selfish, stuck up in my ways to focus on myself instead of helping cause the pain. Thinking things better but paralyzed by the change. Love takes two, true, sometimes I'm the one to blame. She says she want it but she don't know. Down the rabbit hole, now we go. Wondering what kind of wonderland this is. What we fighting in the first place. She says she want it but she don't know. Down the rabbit hole, now we go. Wondering what kind of wonderland this is. What we fighting in the first place. Your heart stretched like the Golden Gate Bridge. Felt the beauty of a million sunsets with your kiss. We could take a selfie or we could take it in. Maybe that's why they say that present is a gift. No stress, put in work for no regrets. Cause when I was at my worst, helped me to be my best. This life at times is like a game of chess. Pops always said to focus on what's next. My only wish is that he can see me now, but you're somewhere in the clouds looking down, no doubt. Can't promise I'ma figure it all out, but I can guarantee there's gonna be love from your child. I'll make you proud. Yes, sir. Let me say thank you for that one, bro, because that was a beautiful canvas to paint on. That.
Ooh. Hey man, you got those Bob Ross brush strokes though, bro.
How you gonna quote Bob Ross, man? You gotta find the next generation Bob Ross. People ain't even gonna know who Bob Ross is.
Bro, I just realized that I looked like I had an artificial sunburn on my face this whole time. I got these giant 32-inch monitors. If you saw me change it up in the middle of the song, I'm like, wait a second, I got this giant, like, I have nothing on these two things except for this red, like, this red background. And so it's like, it's coming on my face. And that's why I'm looking all red over here this whole time. And I'm like, do I look that red really?
All right, man. This is a learning lesson. Is we got to get the lighting on point.
Interview etiquette, bro. I'm learning it. You know, I'll get there eventually. You'll be able to take me to dinner one of these days.
That's all good, man. We'll make it happen. And in the meantime, let it go, right? Like the song says.
Let it go.
There you go. Michaelange1o, man. I definitely appreciate you spending some time today. And definitely for y'all listening, check out Let It Go, the new single, Michaelange1o, Mada Atoms. We out. Peace.
Let's get it.